a very big addition to Damian Priest's storyline may be happening. So we'll see what's that about. We'll also get into what's happening with Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and more. Starting things off with Damian Priest and that big story addition there. For many months now, Damian Priest has found himself in a never-ending feud with Aleister Black. This all started when Aleister Black was targeting R-Truth. And since Damian Priest was a close friend of Truth's, he stood up to Aleister Black. That has led to them entering a very long feud with each other. The biggest, most recent event in their feud had to be revelation of Zelina Vega joining her husband's side and turning heel to help him with Damian Priest. The new duo of Aleister Black and Zelina has caused issues for Damian Priest because he simply has no way to cancel out Zelina Vega, and it has led him to a lot of 2-on-1 problems lately. The way the story has been presented so far makes it seem like Damian Priest doesn't have a shot against Aleister Black, unless he finds someone to help him cancel out Zelina. Sounding like it was setting up another massive mixed tag storyline. Someone that instantly threw their name into the hat was Lola Vice. Lola is Damian's real-life girlfriend, so she instantly teased the idea on social media about coming up to the main roster to help him fight off Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. That definitely seemed like a possibility, it seemed logical. But it looks like Lola won't be Damian's help because she's still busy in NXT and they're not ready to call her up yet. But it does look like there's an alternate plan for Damian Priest to get some help. And it was heavily hinted at on the November 28th edition of SmackDown. On this episode of SmackDown, Rhea Ripley ran into Damian Priest and they had a reunion with each other there. Rhea and Damian were split up after Damian was traded to SmackDown a while back, so they don't get to see each other as much anymore. But they got caught up here. Damian asked Rhea if she was ready for War Games, but the intriguing part and the cliffhanger about it was that Rhea Ripley said she wanted to run an idea by Damian Priest, once she handled all of the War Games related business. And Damian was open to hearing what Rhea Ripley had to say. Similar to when Rhea did this sort of teaser with AJ Lee a few weeks back. We don't get to hear the details of the full conversation, but by using some context clues, we can get an idea of what it is Rhea wants to talk to him about. And in this situation, it seems like Rhea Ripley wants to pitch a Terror Twins reunion to Damian Priest, so that she can help him fight off Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. A lot of fans were excited about Lola Vice taking that spot with Damian Priest, but a Terror Twins reunion is also just as good and exciting. Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest teaming up again for the first time since the Dominic and Liv Morgan storyline, in order to take down Aleister Black and Zelina. Not to mention that there's actually some deep history between Rhea and Zelina that could be touched on if Rhea does turn out to be Damian's partner after all. Rhea and Zelina entered a very personal feud with each other in spring 2023 over the women's title. It was a big Puerto Rico homecoming title match for Zelina, in which she came up unsuccessful against Rhea Ripley. So here we are a few years later, Zelina is now the heel and Rhea is the babyface. But Zelina still has a case to be out for revenge against Rhea for everything that happened back at Backlash 2023. Zelina never got even for that hometown embarrassment that she suffered at the hands of Rhea Ripley, but now she'll be able to get hands on Rhea and get some revenge for what went down that night. Especially since Zelina is a much darker character at the moment. She has more of an edge to her right now than she did a few years ago, so it's safe to assume that Zelina can do even more damage in current day than she was doing back then. So it'll be Damian Priest finally getting his long-awaited help with Rhea Ripley to take on Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. A massive mixed tag match that doesn't really have much on the line per se, but it still contains 4 massive stars, so it should still be a lot of fun. Some fans were wondering how this match was going to work since Rhea Ripley is technically a Raw superstar and the other 3 are SmackDown superstars. And that answer is easy. Sure, there's 2 general managers and 2 separate shows, but the brand split isn't really strictly enforced anymore. Superstars can pretty much go to whatever show they want and do whatever they want, so that's why Rhea getting involved in a mostly SmackDown-related program still seems like a heavy possibility here. Rhea is a great breath of fresh air to this feud, but fans have been feeling a little bit of fatigue with Aleister Black versus Damian Priest overall. This was a summertime feud that is now leaking into the winter months, so fans are looking forward to the end of the feud more than anything else right now. But hopefully this massive mixed tag match is an exciting final chapter for the feud between Aleister Black and Damian Priest. Some more reports are starting to come out regarding some cancelled plans for the apparent WrestleMania 42 Night 2 main event. According to these reports, the company was planning on Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins headlining WrestleMania in 2026. Although the both of them have crossed paths many times in recent years, Roman and Seth have not met one-on-one in the ring with each other since the 2022 Royal Rumble, which was an undisputed title match that ended in no contest. So if you're looking for the last time Roman and Seth faced each other in a singles match that had an actual result, you gotta go back to October 2019, where Roman versus Seth took place as part of the draft that year. So pretty much 7 years since we've seen a Roman versus Seth match that ended with an actual winner being crowned. That's quite a long time, and you can definitely say that a singles match was long overdue there. And it looks like the company knew that, and that's why they were turning back to this matchup to headline their biggest show of the entire year in 2026. Reports claim that the whole reason why Roman spent the back half of 2025 feuding with the Vision was because Roman was supposed to work his way through the entire group until he finally got his hands on Seth Rollins himself, and that showdown was set for WrestleMania 42 itself, where the world title would even be on the line. But of course what has ruined those plans was the shoulder injury to Seth Rollins. Seth had to relinquish the world title and is out of action for a handful of months, with his WrestleMania status now in jeopardy, which destroyed that long-term feud they were in the middle of with Roman versus Seth and the Vision. But of course when it comes to injuries, you gotta have that next man up mentality. So the company is moving forward with another similar WrestleMania 42 plan for Roman Reigns, but with a new opponent instead of Seth. The recent Raw teaser where Roman took an indirect jab at Cody and Punk regarding him coming after their titles, it seems like that was very early seeds for this new WrestleMania 42 main event program. Roman's teaser there to both world champions won't be paid off at Royal Rumble or any other upcoming premium live event. It looks like that was strictly meant to be a very early WrestleMania 42 teaser. So knowing all this information, it takes us back to the same question we were discussing earlier in the week. And that's the question of who in the world was Roman Reigns addressing with that cryptic teaser. Well, it seems like everyone is officially leaning more towards the idea that Roman Reigns was speaking directly to CM Punk after all. If the original plan was for Roman to face Seth Rollins, the world champion of Raw, it looks like they could be sticking to that same concept of Roman challenging the world champion at WrestleMania 42. Only difference is that CM Punk is stepping up into that role that they originally had in place for Seth Rollins. So Roman Reigns still gets the Night 2 WrestleMania 42 main event spot for the world title, but against CM Punk instead of Seth Rollins, which fans don't seem to mind at all. That's still an exciting one-on-one matchup. Remember that it was because of the 2024 War Games match that the company decided to put Roman and Punk in a program together, because the level of fan interest in those two working together was extremely high. So now a big main event singles match between Roman and Punk would still be massive. CM Punk did say that his next goal would be to main event Night 2 of WrestleMania. And if this is the plan they go with, Punk would also be achieving that new goal as well. From 0 career WrestleMania main events to now 2 consecutive WrestleMania main events for Punk. Reports claim that we can expect to see a lot of WrestleMania 42 teasers already popping up on television in current day, so we'll have to watch out for those. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.